and welcome to our online class. So today we're going to review a little bit of what you have learned. So you have learned 8 lessons, so lesson 9 up to lesson 16. Okay, so this is what you have learned. Now let's start from lesson 9. Okay, so in simple present tense, in this lesson you have this tense to use to describe conditions. Okay, so here you have present condition to describe adjective, noun, and adverb of place. Okay, to describe current conditions, and you have to use to be or be instead of regular verbs. Okay, now the formula. You have 3 kind of sentences. Okay, you can take a look of the formula here and also the examples. Okay, so you can pause the video if you need more time to learn about this. Okay, now after you have studied simple present, now let's go to lesson 10, which is present continuous tense. Okay, so this is quite different from simple present tense. And then in this one, you have to describe clothes. Okay, let's see. These are the objectives of our study today. Okay, and then now let's take a look at the formula. Okay, so you have 3 kinds of sentences as well. Okay, so let's take a look at these 3 examples here. So you have I'm wearing a skirt. Okay, don't forget to be and verb ing, and then the clothes, and then I am not wearing a skirt for negative. Don't forget not for negative, and then the to be in front of the sentence, in the beginning of the sentence for question sentence. Okay, are you wearing a skirt? Now, how to use it? When you have adjective and noun, of course noun comes first, and then after that followed by adjective comes first, and then followed by noun. Okay, so for example here, the first one, you have color plus noun, and then pattern plus noun, and then color plus pattern plus noun. Okay, so these are the formula of making adjective plus noun. Okay, now let's take a look at lesson 11. Okay, so you have present continuous as well. And then, but in this one you have to describe activities. Okay, now you're going to deal with a lot of verbs. Okay, still similar from the previous one. It is condition that is at the moment or ongoing activity that is still happening. Okay, and then we'll try to make what, where, and who questions. Okay, so these are the formula. Okay, so you have positive, negative, and question again. So don't forget, as the previous lesson as well, okay, in lesson 10, you also have to be plus verb ing. Okay, don't forget the to be, and the verb ing. Okay, now in the question, the to be is also in the beginning of the sentence. Now, for what, who, and where. How do you add what, who, and where? Now, you have what, who, and where in the beginning of the sentence. So, instead of to be, you have to put what, who, and where at first. Okay, so what, and then followed by to be. For example, what is he doing? And then who are your sister, blah, blah, blah. And then where are they going? Okay, so the question words and then the to be. Okay, now you have learned 3 lessons, lesson 9, 10, and 11. I want to check on your understanding, so you have to click the link in the Google form that I have provided to you. Okay, so you can pause this video and then go back after you have finished your exercise. Okay, now let's continue to lesson 13. Okay, in this one, you have to tell time. Now, let's see. Okay, so this is how you tell time. Okay, you have to mention the minute first, and then after that, you have to mention the hour. Okay, so for example, here you have 10 past 3. 3:30, and 3:45. Okay, and then for AM and PM, let's take a look also here. I have provided to you. Okay, so AM is 12 at night until 11:59 in the afternoon, and then PM is 12 at noon and then until 11:59 at night. Okay, so these are the how you tell time. Now you can pause this video if you want to take a look a little bit longer. Okay, now let's continue to the dates. Okay, in this one you have tables of how you tell dates. Okay, the number for dates, and then here also you have preposition of time, in, on, and at. Okay, so in, don't forget, it is for a more general time. For example, year. In this one, I was born in 2000. Okay, so year. And then you have on. It is for more specific, but not the most specific, not too specific. For example, I was born on March 22nd. Okay, and then the last one, at, is the most specific time. For example, hour. Okay, so in this example, you have I went to school at 6 a.m. So 6 a.m. is hour or time. Okay, now let's move on to lesson 14. But before we move on to lesson 14, please click in the Google form that I have provided as well, and then do the exercise and then pause this video and then go back here for our lesson 14. Okay, now let's continue. For lesson 14, it is about family members. Okay, now I want you to check on these vocabularies. Have you known all the vocabularies that I have provided here to you? If not, please kindly check, look up for your dictionaries or your Google. Try to Google it, what is the meaning of each vocabularies. Okay, so you have this, you have to memorize this. Okay, so for in this case. And then now let's take a look at a few tips that I have for you. Okay, so the first one is possessive. Okay, so in possessive, you can use apostrophe S. For example, here you have Retno's sister and Panji's uncle. Okay, so this form is to indicate that someone owns something. Okay, so they own someone else. Okay, so for example, Retno's sister, Panji's uncle. Okay, and then the second, married to versus married with. Okay, now married with is incorrect. Okay, so do not use married with, but instead use married to. This is the most appropriate phrase. Okay, now let's move on to lesson 15. Now, if you have discussed about simple present tense in lesson 9, it is about describing condition, okay, with adjective, adverb, and noun. In this one, you have habit or routine, so you have to deal with a lot of verb. Okay, now simple present is to describe habits or routines, okay, something that happens frequently. And then you also have adverbs of frequency. Okay, so for example, in this one, you have time signals like always, never, sometimes, once a week, and so on. Okay, now about the formula. Let's take a look here. Please pause if you need more time to read the formula. Okay, as I have mentioned here as well, you have verb 1, of course. And then for he, she, it, don't forget that you have to add s or es in the verb. Okay, and then for negative and question, the verb is in the form of verb 1 only. You cannot use verb 1 plus s because you already have do or does. Okay, so here I have also provided 3 examples of the sentences. Now, how to use it? As I mentioned before, in using s or es for verb 1, it is dependent on the subject, he, she, it, I, you, we, they. Okay, so please read this carefully. And then also for questions, don't forget, and also for negative. Okay, so don't forget that the verb is always in the form of verb 1 without s or es, no matter the subject, no matter if they are he, she, or it. Okay, so you still cannot use verb 1 plus s in questions and negative. Okay, now these are the examples of frequency, adverbs of frequency. Okay, I have provided you some examples as well, sentences that you can take a look here. Okay, you can pause, of course, the video if you need more time to read. Okay, so I will continue to our last lesson today. So it is still simple present tense, but in this one you have to deal with questions. Okay, so asking question and also answering questions, yes or no question. Okay, now how to use it? Okay, now to remind you how to use it, please kindly check lesson 9 and 15. Okay, so in a brief, simple present tense is of course for habits or for routines. Okay, and then verb 1 in this case. Okay, so for question you cannot use verb 1 with s or es. Okay, so for question it is always verb 1 without s or es. Okay, now the formula. Okay, so for question, don't forget you have do or does. Don't forget it is dependent on the subject. For example, here you have does he study at night. Okay, so because the subject is he, you have to use does. And then the verb is still in the form of verb 1. You cannot say studies because you already have does. Okay, and then in answering, yes I do, no I don't, yes he does, no he doesn't. Okay, so for negative you have not at the end of the sentence. And then don't forget do and does. How to use it? Of course, it depends on the subject. Okay, now we have come to the end of our lesson today. Okay, so I have also provided you the last exercise, exercise 3. Please kindly check the link that I have provided to you and then please do the exercise. Okay, and then good luck for your final exam and stay healthy.